Hold on 1 second. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, Fabulites. This is Angela, and I have got questions for you. What opens with 2 weeks before the final decision and everything is up in the air? We might be kissing these couples goodbye soon. And what closes with 2 kisses unexpectedly? I was surprised. Were you surprised? If you guessed Married at First Sight, I think the episode was called Second Honeymoons. You're correct. Thank you so much for clicking on the channel and coming in and giving likes. I appreciate it. Joining us live, clicking on the recap and sticking around to see how we get from opening to closing. Okay, so it's Married at First Sight, our favorite show, because we love love and we love talking about relationships. I don't know why you like it, but that's why. Okay, so it's less than 2 weeks before the final decision. I don't really understand this concept of the final decision, because even if they stay married through, at the end of the 8 weeks, when we're like all watching and we're like, what are they going to decide to do? Y'all know that people get divorced later on sometimes too. So it's not really a final decision. It's just like, the end of the experiment or the TV show. But we're 2 weeks out. And so they decide to do second honeymoons and road trips to drive them apart or bring them closer together. Now, especially for Ryan and Jackie, I kind of feel like I don't think that they need to go anywhere. I think that they need to continue to live their lives so that they can get clarity about what's going on. Because I feel like Ryan and Jackie, when they gonna go off into like fantasy land, and I need them to be in reality to deal with what's really going on day to day. Because I need Jackie to get clarity, and I need to get clarity about what's really going on with Ryan, because we all know that Ryan talks a good game. So if they out there traveling, I'm not feeling confident about this strategy to like really suss out what's going on with them. So I protested enough. We gonna just go on. I'm gonna tell you what happened. So we're at Ryan and Jackie's door. Dr. Pepper is there, and she says she hopes to remind this couple that conflict is natural. And she wants them to refocus on what's going on well and how much they have already grown. I feel like somebody needs to come and snatch Ryan up by his collar and be like, look, sir, you said you wanted to get married, and I don't know, what are you doing? Why are you doing it? Let us figure out what's going on. What going on, Ryan? But anyway, they didn't ask me what I thought. I'm just over here on YouTube telling y'all what I thought. So I didn't understand, the conversation did not seem to be relevant to that couple to me. It might be editing. I don't know. And, that she asked them, well, what have you learned? And Jackie is like, well, not to overthink and blah, 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 blah. And then Ryan is like putting in the time. I'm like, oh, he learned to put in the time. Have we seen him put in the time? I feel like all I've seen him do is running away. I don't understand. Ryan is really, this whole situation with him and also his wife is really, stressing me out, because I feel like she's in la la land, like, oh yeah, everything is fine. You hear the dog out here protesting, whining, howling. He just as upset as I am. Yeah, he's just as upset as I am. And then he says, I feel like, and also at the end of him saying, yeah, I got to put in the time, then I feel like he had the nerve to say something about her, but I tuned it out because I'm like, I know he is not over here critiquing her right now. I just can't receive it. I can't hear it, so I'm not even going to listen to that. And then they get to pick their road trip, so they get to decide where they're going. Hello, aka Special K. Welcome on the chat. You watch Love at First Sight? Do you love it? So then we have an opportunity to work together as a team, to bond and to enjoy each other. This is probably one of the experts talking at the honeymoon. And, at the honeymoon, when they first went on the honeymoon, they were strangers. And now they've known each other for 6 weeks. So they're like, they've been knowing each other forever. 6 weeks is really not a lot of time, even when you're spending intense time with somebody. That's not even a season. So I just still think these people are virtual strangers. Yes, for many seasons. You're probably more of an expert than me. But these people are still virtual strangers, but they do know each other better than they did at the honeymoon. I'll give them that. And now they can bond. So, Miss Jackie suggests New York City, and Ryan is open and receptive to it. So that's where they're going. We see Ryan and Jackie arriving at a restaurant, and Jeffy and Shawnice are already there. I like the way that Jeffy and Shawnice, I don't know why, but they're not on CPT time. I don't know why I like that, but I'm like, they there. They the first ones there. And then Molly and John arrive too. So it's like a Married at First Sight class of season 6 dinner that they're having. And Molly and John, we find out, are going to Florida, somewhere in Florida, I guess Universal Studios, I think. And then Jackie wonders if they are going to make it through their trip. Jackie and Ryan, she's like, I don't know if we're going to make it through our trip. And then John, there's a lot going on, and I'm trying to take notes. It's a lot going on. So I would like to see this scene again. Usually I get to watch it again. But John is telling Shawnice, he like whispering in her ear. And I saw somebody's review, a young Haitian woman, I can't remember her name, but she was saying that she thought that Molly had a thing for Jeffy. And then when I saw John whispering at Shawnice, I'm like, well, maybe, they little, I don't know. But anyway, John is whispering to Shawnice. He's like, I tried to make a post-decision day date with Molly, and she turned him down. And Molly is like, wait, what's going on? Oh, he wants to buy the tickets, but he, the difference after the date is only $5 or $10, and he's trying to lock me down into something, and I just don't know. And he said he only wants to go if we're married. We can't go as friends, so whatever. So that was kind of like a whole interesting little dynamic to me. Because it was, their whole thing. I wish I could know more about what's really, really going on with Molly and John. Because I have my theories, and I know other people's theories are different. But I actually think that they, on some level, they might be doing well. And then Ryan is... Jackie is talking, and I feel like Ryan starts over talking her, and she's like, well, hold on a second, we're making excuses because and Jackie is like, well, we are finding things. And I'm like, we or he is finding things, and we are making excuses. I'm like, we or he are making excuses because decision day is coming and we don't want to get rejected and blah 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 blah. So I guess it's good that she has the empathy to see and understand where he might be coming from and what's going on with him. And I really would like to like Ryan, because y'all know, you might not know, but I try to like people. I really do. But Ryan, I don't know. Something happened for me last week with him, and I haven't really been able to get back to liking him. I don't trust him. It's like I want to trust him, but it's just getting worse and worse for me with him. Ryan asked John, which I thought was weird, well, John, what's been the hardest thing for you? I don't know if he's trying to deflect from his situation. And John is like, basically, I don't want to talk about it. And then they kind of go back and forth. In his interview, he says, I took a big risk getting married at first sight, and I don't want to mess it up. And as cold as Molly is on camera, she is even colder off camera. And I was like, well, gosh darn, because she seems very cold and dry and controlled on camera. She seems very like she's really managing her issue. And then, oh my God, did you see the preview for next week? The child, it seemed like she out here, she not attracted to him, and she out here at the bars dealing with other people. That's not what I wanted for them. That's not the story I wanted. I wanted to unfold. But he says she's colder off camera. And then he goes on and tells the group, look, it's hard to be constantly rejected. She just constantly rejected me, and it's really hard, and I'm stuck in it. And so I'm just going to keep going. And Molly is like, she's been silent and still while he's talking. And then she says, you're not stuck in it, just so you know. And I was kind of like, okay, well, that's true. He's not. So John, he gets up and he leaves. And I was kind of like, oh, well, okay. And then Shanice is like, well, how do you feel about this, Molly? And Molly is like, well, 99% of it, we're good and we're wonderful and the relationship is good. And I'm like, dang. But that 1% of the physical attraction, I mean, I know he's attractive, but he's just not attractive to me right now. And then he does stuff and it really is a turnoff. And then some of the other wives are like, yeah, we can all relate to that, because I feel like it's, we can relate to that. So they're like, yeah, I like my husband, but sometimes he just pissed me off and then I don't want to be bothered with him. It's a turn off, blah, 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 blah. And then John comes back and they're like, shh, he's back. And then John is like he makes some joke and he goes on. I think he has just like a really interesting, I don't know if it's like the salesmanship, but I just think he carries himself well. And, I'm just like, okay, well, go on. And Shanice is like, well, don't feel like you're stuck in anything, but, keep working and keep building. I think Shanice feels bad for him. So then we're at Shanice and Jeffy's place. And Shanice says she is excited about the road trip. And she feels that it's going to bring them closer together. And they're trying to figure out where they're going to go. And Shanice is like, I want someplace fun and romantic. And I guess we find out that he not really into the romantic, he into the fun. So they have this whole back and forth where it's like, well, what percentage fun, what percentage romantic, 50-50, 60-40, 95-5, he says. And he's like, do you know what percent 95 is in 5? And she's like, yeah, you want 95% fun and 5% romantic. So they're laughing and, having a good time. And I think it's really funny now that we know that his role model for marriage and relationship is a sitcom, a situation comedy. We understand the laughter, the importance of laughter. Because, on sitcoms, we just always be, so it's kind of like, I just wish he would get a marriage mentor and some marriage men. I wish he would be part of like a group of men who have been married for various amounts of time and are, come from good solid marriages and can support him. And, I like that he has his friend, but I want more. I feel like he needs more. He needs the most. Jeffy needs the most. So I'm rooting for him. She asked how he wants or how he thinks this second honeymoon is going to be different from the first honeymoon. And he's like, well, I know you, so that's nice. He probably say some other things, but that was like the the punchline. So then we have the road trips. Is Shanice driving? I'm so old fashioned. I'm always like, why is the woman driving? Does he even have a driver's license? Didn't he grow up in New York, but he live in Boston now? But there is some kind of public transportation, but I don't know. She's driving. And then when Ryan and Jackie are leaving, I'm like, Ryan didn't carry her bags or offer to help carry some of the stuff because she looked like she had more stuff than him. She looked more weighed down. So I'm like, gosh, my old fashioned is really showing. I mean, I just kind of, and then we see Molly and John, they flew to Orlando. And I'm like, are they holding hands? Is this just for the show? Because now that John has said in his interview that she's as warm as she is on camera, which is cold, she even colder off camera. I'm like, well, is she just holding hands for the cameras? Are they, what's going on? It makes me question everything. I don't know what's really going on, which we don't anyway, because it's TV. Ryan is like, asking Jackie, how is the marriage adventure different from your expectations? And I don't really remember what she said, but what I do notice about her is that she is really all in, and so is Shanice for the most part. This Jackie is just all in, and he's blah 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 talking. I want to see, and I'm like, I want to see action. And now we're out of context, so I just feel like it's easy to be cute and romantic on a 2-day trip. I'm like, Shanice, she really likes the looks of the lodge when they get there. The scenery is beautiful, she says, and it is really beautiful. It's like fall colors. It's beautiful, just lots of foliage. It's like wholesome, and it's cozy. Their space is really nice, and there are flowers all over, like the tub and the table. So, it looks like it's been nicely set up for them. Molly and John have a nice space as well, and Molly says that she's really feeling closer to him. In New York City, Jackie is still all in. She's talking about Mr. and Mrs., whatever their last name, and I'm with my husband. You know, you know how women get to be. That's how she is. She just really, and I feel like she keeps initiating kisses, but there are a couple of times when he initiates kisses, but they're all kissy, kissy, poo, poo, and blah, blah, blah. He says that he's learned that happy wife, happy life. I'm like, has he learned it? When? Have we seen any evidence of that? Or is he just talking? Because I haven't seen any evidence of that. I'm just having a really hard time trusting Ryan's words. Okay, so then we see Shanice and Jeffy, and they are in bed holding hands. I think it's like the next morning. And he said, Jeffy is saying, in order to be more romantic, as requested by his wife Shanice, he got their wedding video without her knowing. And so they're playing it and watching it, and she's crying. And we know Shanice will cry at the drop of a dime, the drop of a hat. So she's crying. We're not shocked, but it's very sweet. She's very touched, and it's so romantic. She says, these are tears of joy. It's just, I just remember where I was then. This is just such a blessing. And it is kind of cute to see them back on the day when they met, and when we met them too. We just, we didn't really know I didn't know what to expect. So now it's kind of like we have a whole context for them that we didn't have when we first saw them on film. So it is kind of cute to see them. And he's seeing how when he was doing his vows that he was more practical and pragmatic, whereas she was more lovey-dovey. And then something happened and she crying again. We know Shanice is crying. So we're back in New York City. It's day 47 of the marriage. There's more blah, 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 blah from Ryan, and then just more starry eyes from Jackie. Like she just love her some Ryan, or love her the idea of being married. I guess if it worked for her, I'm going to try to get over my distrust of him. But I only got a couple weeks, so I don't know. So we're at Universal Studio with Molly and John. They're riding the roller coasters, and Molly is having fun. And she said, this is what we needed exactly. It's light and it's fun. And John is having fun. And he's like, this is the side of Molly that he's been trying to get out the whole time. And Molly is saying, we're both adventurous. I know why we were matched. That's their party line. They always say that. And it's not today, it's what today reminds me of. And then we find out that Molly's dad was who made his transition not too long, or whatever. I don't know if it's not too long ago, but it's that he has, that he was the only one who would ride the roller coaster with her. She thinks of going to the amusement park as a family thing, but her daddy is the only one who would ride the roller coaster with her. So, the fact that John has ridden the roller coaster from her, it's like I feel like, oh, poo-poo, right? So then she says it brings them closer, and he's acting like he doesn't know that he had. So they sitting there drinking something, and he gets a milk mustache or a foam mustache, and he acting like he don't know it's there. She's like, wait. She takes a picture, and then she wipes it off, and I'm like, oh, it's physical interaction. We see Shanice and Jeffy. Now they're doing the corn maze. This is what we saw in the preview, so we knew it was going to be some mess and some drama with the corn maze. So this is more like his speed, his type of activity, the type of thing that he likes to do. So she's kind of following him around, but it's like it's just stressful and tense, and they're arguing. And she's annoyed and aggravated, and he feels like she's not being a good sport. And she says that she is a ride or die. And I think she has really demonstrated, at least for the time we've known her, she really seems that she has been all in, just like the other child, all in. Because I don't know what I would have done, but just watching it, I'd have been gone a few times. But she says that she's a ride or die, and that, when we doing stuff together, we a unit, we here together. That's the whole point of doing stuff together. But Jeffy is not communicating. He used to doing things alone. He want to do everything by himself. So I don't know what the point is of us being married. I quit, or something to that effect. And I'm like, what? So that's what had happened in the corn maze. And I know I didn't do a good job of explaining it. It was a lot. I tried to capture it. So then we're back at Universal. Again, this is and we find out that this was the last trip that to Universal, to an amusement park, was the last trip that Molly took with her dad at 15, and that he had a tummy ache. He went to the doctor. The doctor told him he had cancer. He had a year to live, and then 2 weeks later, he had made his transition. That's kind of intense. And he says that he likes the way that she's telling the story because he feels that she has a very positive attitude. And we find out that his parents' divorce was very long and drawn out and traumatic for him. And that he went into the military at 17, I guess, to get away from them. Something. And then they kiss. And then they kiss again. And it's like, oh, I'm so excited. But then I just keep thinking about the expert sitting down with her, not Dr. Pepper, but the other young white woman who's like, we're sick of your lies and we have it on tape. And I'm like, no, Molly, no. I was rooting for you. And I shouldn't be jumping ahead of myself to next week. But that's all I got for this week. Did I miss anything important? Did I miss anything? That's all I got for this week, this episode of Married at First Sight. If I missed anything important, drop it in the comments. Thank you for watching, commenting, subscribing, being here, and helping us to achieve that illustrious next goal, that next target of 1,000 charter subscribers. That's it. Tonight is the best night ever. Today is the best day ever, and you are the greatest. So go out, be you, be fabulous, and be fabulous you. Would you ever get married at first sight? I really want to look up arranged marriages and learn more about them and the success rate. And like, how common is it in an arranged marriage? Like, I think in some arranged marriages, I would assume that the man is much older than the woman. I stopped watching the show, but I appreciate your review. Hey, I didn't even know you were on the line, who I always want to call a Neb, and that's not your name, I know, but I still want to call you a Neb because I love Mama Neb. But I want to know, like, I'm assuming in some situations, the man might be older than the woman or the girl, and he just might force her to have sex. But I'm curious about this whole thing of people getting married and then how long it takes them to consummate the marriage. And like, is it some places, some situations where it's, 6 weeks, 6 months, 6 years? And like, does the speed of consummation of the marriage, is that like an indication of success? Because we have the whole extreme here. We have somebody who consummated immediately, and I think their relationship is not looking successful to me right now. And then we have somebody who has not consummated, and their relationship is not looking successful right now. So anyway, that makes me want to research that or understand that dynamic more. But that's it. Be you. Be fabulous. Be fabulous you. Peace. Good night. There we go. Arranged marriages are pretty successful. I believe they consummate the night, or else marriage is not valid as far as I know. Very contractual. All right. I don't know if you can hear me. Peace.